President Biden coming out swinging in defense of the U.S. economy's progress in his State of the Union address, touting his crackdown on corporations, shrinkflation, junk fees, and lowering consumer costs. But did it resonate? That's the big question. To break down what it means for Americans, Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman is here. Rick, I know you had your popcorn ready, or maybe some snow caps. Who knows? What did you take away from this State of the Union?
Yeah, and the bag was smaller than it was last year because of shrinkflation, of course. Well, it was a good night. It was a good night for President Biden. I mean, he's getting very strong reviews. Maybe the bar was set pretty low. People thought this might be a snooze fest, or even worse, that he would really flub something up that would be kind of a negative viral moment for him. Didn't really happen. And he was very energized last night. I mean, whatever vitamins he's taking, I think I want some of them. The reviews today are using words like fierce, feisty, fiery. He looked very vigorous, and it was a very political speech. And, he referred to Trump. He never said the word Trump, but he referred to my predecessor 13 times. So he was completely in campaign mode. And he did what we expected. He bragged about the U.S. economy. He said the U.S. economy is the envy of the world. I think that's true, more or less, except in America. Only Americans seem to think the American economy stinks, which is maybe the biggest problem he's going to have while campaigning, is convincing Americans that the economy is as strong as he thinks it is and as strong as some of the data shows. But I think, major takeaway here is he has now fully launched his 2024 reelection campaign. And if he can keep up this level of energy for the next 7 months, that would be a relief for Democrats. We'll see if he can.
Rick, do you think it's going to have an impact, or how much impact do you see it having with some of the swing voters out there, which we know are going to be so critical in this election?
Absolutely critical. And we're talking about a relatively small number of voters in perhaps only 4, 5, or 6 states. So my own view, I mean, official Washington, the political press corps gets all excited about the State of the Union. My own view is this does not change minds. We're still far away from Election Day. And anybody who actually is a swing voter is not going to make up their mind whether to vote for Biden or not based on what they see in this speech. And a lot of, most Americans don't even watch the speech. But, this will generate some good press coverage for Biden. It already has, in fact. And, I've seen some analysts this morning saying this has kind of changed the narrative. It has kind of put Biden on offense, maybe put Trump on defense. So Biden just needs I think he needs 2 things. He needs to keep this level of energy going without any mistakes. And he needs the improvements in the economy that have been gradually coming along, mostly inflation, getting that inflation rate down and getting people to notice that it's down. He just needs these incremental trends to continue. And if they do, Biden has a pretty good shot in November, but there's a lot that can change during the next 7 months.
Rick, just lastly, while we have you here, there was one point of contention that got at least some billionaires getting Twitter fingers or X fingers. I'm not sure if that's going to really work the way that I thought it would. But anyway, they got Twitter fingers, as we used to call it. Bill Ackman was the first one, talking about drug prices here. And Biden mentioned this within his speech, talking about Americans paying more for prescription drugs than anywhere else. It's wrong. He's ending it. Bill Ackman chimed in on this. We saw Mark Cuban chimed in on this. And it kind of revives this general thought of, okay, for the billionaires that have already thrown some capital, some funding behind Nikki Haley previously, of these 2 candidates, where do we think that's going to net out?
I think Biden would welcome attacks from billionaires. I mean, if billionaires don't like his agenda, I mean, that is exactly that's the kind of enemy you want to have if you're waging a populist reelection campaign, which is what Biden is doing. In terms of people who are supporting, I think the money behind Nikki Haley is not going to go to Biden. I mean, she is very conservative. She is nowhere near the centrist or center-left Democrat that Joe Biden is. So I don't think Biden's going to get that money, but I also don't think he needs it. Biden's campaign is extremely well funded at this point. And by the way, Donald Trump's campaign is not. So if some of those wealthy donors just sat out the election and did not help out Donald Trump or his super PACs, that would benefit Biden. And I have a hunch that is the way it's going to go. By the way, I did see one survey recently that said some people who supported Nikki Haley, perhaps more of them are inclined to vote for Biden than for Trump. That would be terrific news for Biden, because that is exactly the type of fence-sitting voter that he needs to get in order to win.